Good morning. So this is my second lecture in this series. So the lecture series is on data wrangling with Python. So in this second lecture, again, I am going to discuss about data, basically data sources, and I am going to discuss about the file operations, that is data files. So different kinds of data files and different data sources, different open source data sets. So all those things I will be introducing in this one, and this lecture also comes under module 1. So these are the topics, as I told you: data sources, where the data is originally generated, or it is refined, or it is transported to elsewhere, or useful directly for the end user. So it can be anything. So then data files. What are different types of data files? Popular types of data files I will be discussing, and using Python. So how we are going to work with these data files I am going to discuss. And the data sets. What are the open source data sets available on the World Web, so that you can do research, or you can demonstrate some academic concepts to the students. So these data sets, what I am going to show is some of the things are structured data sets and some of the things are unstructured data sets. And data file formats, how they are stored. And we are going to work with CSV files today using CSV module. This is the Python's built-in module basically, and working with XLS files using XLRD and XLWT libraries. So here, this is the previous version of the Excel. So Excel, yes only, not Excel SX. Okay. So that thing we will be discussing in the next lecture. So take data source. I think this I did it. A data source is the location where data is being used, originates from. So this is the source. I took these sentences, a little bit modified probably. The data source is the location where the data that is being used originates from. This is the origin of data originally. And a data source may be the initial location where the data is born, or where physical information is first digitized, or it can be the most refined data. That means after cleaning the data, after changing the format of the data, after doing some processing sometimes, so we'll get some intermediate data also, or final data. And this final data or intermediate data which is processed, it may be used by and processed by further purposes by somebody else. So it can be, the data source can be at 3 places. One is initial location, and initial location, it is purely raw data, and where this is first digitized, it is converted into digitized, and where it is totally refined, and or probably you are applying some filters, some kind of algorithms to refine the data, and ultimately this data, or it may be processed data also, some processing kind of thing you are doing, some analysis also you are doing, you may be generating some new data also out of that one. So this new data or refined data, it will be used for further purposes by somebody else. And data source may be a data file, database. It can be relational database or non-relational databases, that is SQL database or non-SQL databases, not only SQL based. And flat file, it could be some ASCII file, or it could be Microsoft Excel sheets, spreadsheets, and it can be live measurements from physical devices, and it can, the data can be from scraped web data. So this is, you are scraping from the web. So this may be in the form of XML or HTML. So those kind of things. And the other one is the static data, but streaming data. So streaming data means it could be audio streaming or video streaming or mostly audio video streamings. These are unstructured data, and they are not dynamic data, they are static data. That means after you use this, after streaming the data won't change because somebody else, after you stream, another person also simultaneously stream, or after you finish, the other person can stream. So, but by streaming the data is not going to be disturbed, or it is not dynamic. So it is a static data. So dynamic data, it comes where the customer enters for example, if you take Amazon or Flipkart websites, you are going to order some items there, and you are going to apply your preferences, you are going to apply the details, the form. Every time whenever you change the form, the data is going to change. So whatever data you acquired yesterday may not be that much relevant for today or next month. So that is the kind of data that is called dynamic data. Here we talk about only the static data. Here, throughout our analysis, in this course, we are not talking about any kind of dynamic data. We talk about the static and streaming data only. So these are the 5 types. Then let us go to this GitHub page. It has open source for data science, so a folder, and in that one we have the data sets. So there are 612 data sets are there. They are open sources. You can work with, and you can even add your own data set so that other people can work on that. Okay, so this is basically data science come machine learning community. So these data are extensively used for that. This was originally who owned this? The website is owned by University of California, Irvine, and that is a machine learning repository. So this is what. So they welcome you always to use this data. So plenty of data is available. Excellent data is available. Structured data is available. Unstructured data, both are available. Let us see some example data sets here. We have the IARE data sets, and it has 150 instances. That means 150 samples. If you take it as a Excel sheet, I have 150 rows. That is the meaning of this one. And it has verticals, or 5 attributes are there. And I won't go deep now into this. And there is another data set, dry bean data set. It has, though it is written as zeros, it has some information there. Then diabetes. So there are so many, like there are 612 data sets are there. Now another excellent source is Kaggle. So these Kaggle data sets, they are, here also there are very good data sets are there, both structured and unstructured data sets are there. Audio, video, images, everything is there here also. And data science community, at some point of time, you have to touch this website, and you should use this data available for open data available, and for your free research purposes. And some of the popular data sets are, these are trending data sets, something here. It is unemployment data set here, coronavirus 19 US, then this is Swiggy and Zomato orders, online retail sales, this is Tatas. So this is what you have the trending, that means most recently majority of the people are using, that is what it means. Then popular data sets. There are some other popular data sets. Job salaries are there. World population, house rent prediction data set is there, and this is something else. And when it comes to unstructured data, we have the image classification, agriculture crops. So agriculture crops, they have noted down some attributes for this. So they are continuously updating this. Then sea animals image data set is there. Synthetic faces, this is very interesting, and high quality synthetic faces. So probably you are given some vector graphics you use, some kind of bitmap graphics or vector graphics you use some intelligent algorithm and artificially synthesize the new faces here or from existing faces. And here this face data set is they don't exist at all. So in this case, what happens is you are synthesizing the face. Probably you will modify the hair, you will modify the whiskers, and you will modify some parts of the face like that. But here they are totally generating using the machine learning and deep learning basically. So deep learning community, probably they have generated this kind of things, and you are creating a new faces basically based on the your features. So you can create a new. In fact, it is something like creating the new babies. Okay, no, not physically, but the faces which you are not seeing. They are basically the genetical content of the parents. So their faces, the baby faces, are arrived by different combinations of the parent and parents' genes. Okay, in the same way, this is the synthetic data set where you are using the attributes in place of genes. You have the several attributes and new faces you are creating. Okay, very interesting actually. And then come to another data set. There is a human genome project is there, and this has become very popular. And here they have several data sets. There is a genome data viewer is there, because probably some people are already aware of this. They use some alphabets to represent the different genes there. So the gene sequencing, in fact. So different sequences are available, and here at the same website you have, this is National Library of Medicine, National Center for Biotechnology Information, that is NCBI. So this NCBI, I mean, that is what I have shown earlier, this one. So going a bit to details, here is a huge data, trillions of bytes, and huge data built probably over a period of 15 years probably actively. And the very interesting thing here is the gene sequences, the complete gene sequences are built. Nowadays you have the full sequence. Earlier there were some gaps. The scientists could not fill those gaps because of some reasons. Now they have enough data, enough research has gone, enough material they have collected, and they have analyzed, and they have filled the now the human genome completely built. The sequence is completely built. So for example, if you want to know 1 lakh generations ago, who were your forefathers, you can get that information now. In which continent they were, in which country at that time they were, how many years ago, all those things you can get that one. So these Homo sapiens, they are the first human which has come out of the ape. So this first human, from there they started this, because before that we don't call them as human beings. This is the first human being, Homo sapien, and Homo erectus. So those who can stand up and vertical, and who can stand on 2 legs. So that is what that is after this. They are the Homo erectus. They are after this. So with this thing, you can, if you are really very greedy of data, excellent data is there. This is not numerical data. Okay, so it is very good data for categorical and ordinal data must be available here. Some numericals also must be there. I'm not sure actually. So, but some mostly these are alphabets. Gene sequences means alphabets, not everything. Few letters. So next, there is another data set. This is unstructured data set and instrument recognition. This can be used for instrument recognition. So you have multiple instruments recorded. Here also hours and hours of data is there, and musical audio signals, and they are available as data sets. And this is owned by Music Technology Group of Universitat Pompeu Fabra. This is Barcelona. So this is also, I some time ago, it happened that I used some of this data also. So very good data. But only thing is, there are, if you want to do something with Indian instruments, if you want to do, there's a good research area actually. why to depend on always some other instruments which we don't we use, but our traditional instruments are there. So some people who are interested in data science or machine learning, they can go for classification or instrument recognition of Indian native instruments. Okay, so this is one research area. Then another data set, this is totally speech data set, Voxlab, and this is basically for speech recognition purpose, a large scale audio visual data set of human speech. That means you have the video, and you have the audio and video. So if something, generally human brain, it understands the speech not just because of the sentences which we hear through audio, through ears. It is not oral perception, it also the visual perception is there. So how the lips are moving. So that is the reason some people are experts in lip reading. That means the lip movements and the words which come out of our mouth, both are taken to analyze, to understand the other person's speech. That is what happens in case of human beings. So best recognition of the speech can be achieved if you can use the visual information also, lip movements also. So that is what, and of course, this audio visual data, it is also useful to estimate the emotional state of the human being. When the speaker speaks, and the speaker may have different emotions. So that different emotions are expressive. Some of the emotions are expressive, so they are directly seen as in the visual information, and in the audio information or speech information, it is visible as the pitch changes or prosody. There are other things, intonation and all those things are there. So those things, and along with all those things, if you can use this face features also or lip movements, you can have the good emotion detection. And let us start working with data files. So the data files which I am going to consider, they are almost there. Everything is there. Maybe some unpopular or unpopular in the sense. For example, if you take image, medical images, you have the DICOM format is there, and you have the here. If you see, I have not taken any kind of images or audio. These are all only text. So what it means, it can be structured and unstructured, it is okay, but it is only the text data, and no audio, no video is there in this. So I have considered only the text data. In that one, I have considered popular ones which are mostly used by data science engineers. That is CSV file, comma separated values. CSV file. It is a text file that has a specific format which allows data to be saved in a table structured format. It is just like our Excel sheet. If you open Excel sheet or CSV file, both will look same. Okay, but for machine maybe slightly different because in terms of headers and other things. So CSV is almost like a flat file with all ASCII characters, which is machine readable and simultaneously which is human readable also. Okay, now if I take Microsoft's Excel file, so Excel, I have two extensions in this. XLS, this is the previous versions. This is, I think, up to 2013. This was there. And after that, latest Excel forward, MS Office uses this XLSX. This is the latest format. This is the previous format. So some of the things, you need different modules or libraries in Python to read these files and these files. Okay, and some of the things like Pandas, it supports both. Okay, so you should be careful about this suffix, whether XLS S is there or XLS X is there. You should be very careful. Sometimes you use this and it won't work. Okay, so you should be careful. And it is basically a specific format which allows data to be saved because in the same thing, but it has some additional things. if you open this CSV file in the notepad, you can clearly read the ASCII text here. And characters are numerical values. But if you open MS file, Excel file, you cannot read that much. Some parts maybe you can read, but the file as such, it appears like a summation code kind of things. Okay, so there is a slight difference here. Then JavaScript object notation. This is called JSON file. It is a standard text format, text-based format. All are text-based only for representing structured data based on Java object syntax. So this JSON file, if you open these files, can be easily read in Python. Okay, and probably if you open with the notepad, you can also read the data, but along with that one, you have some additional tags, okay, which you have to clean really if you want to save it as a text file like that. Okay, so it is commonly used for transmitting data in web applications because Java is involved there. And other one is XML format. This is extensible markup language. So this is markup language like HTML. This is the previous one, and file format for storing, transmitting, and reconstructing or restructuring arbitrary data. So this is also text file, but this is used when you invoke the web applications mostly. And here the PDF file, everybody portable document format, and it has its own format. And you can only display it if you just open with the notepad. You get junk in that one, and junk in the sense for our human eye, it appears as a junk. Otherwise, it has a lot of useful information, and it has full information. Then text file. It is a notepad or wordpad. You can open these files with notepad or wordpad, or in the previous one, in the cases you have the MS-DOS in the original PC evolution, you had the MS-DOS. Even now you have the command CMD command is nothing but the MS-DOS, Microsoft Disk Operating System. So these are those files that we used to call it as a .bat batch file. We used to use several batch files to execute DOS commands, and here that kind of thing. But here same thing, whatever is there in Excel sheet and CSV file, they can also be just like ASCII characters. No format is there. If you copy from Word and if you paste here, you will lose the format. It is just purely text. You have ASCII characters. You have extended ASCII characters. Total 256 are there. So you will get all those characters if you open this one. Okay. And probably the extended characteristics may not be displayed properly. That also may be there. Okay, we have to see. Then another one is binary. This binary format, basically it is a machine readable format. Human readable, it is not human readable. And this thing is generated by hardware generally when you have some processor, when you have a signal processor, or in some industry you are doing some test, built-in tests you are doing on test G, using test Gs, you are doing built-in tests of a product or a system or a unit in industry. So you will be generating the data online, that is continuous data, and that has to be digitized. That is the part of hardware again. The once it becomes digitized, you are storing it in terms of bytes, and you have different formats in that one. So it is basically after analog to digital conversion, you have the digital bytes, and those directly you are storing them. Okay, and if you open that, because if you open with notepad, you will see junk kind of thing. You cannot read it because binary has to be converted into decimal. Then you have to read. And it is, when I say binary, these are all numerical data. Binary data means numerical data. So sometimes this DAT file, .dat, we used to have when I was designing the products in all my signal processing projects and product prototypes. So I used to use .bin and .dat. Both are same. I mean, the extension, it doesn't matter. Basically, when you are reading this one in C, RB, read only binary. That kind of thing you have to specify. If you use RT, read text means it will open, but nothing you will see. Okay, you should not read in that direction. Okay, here you should say each byte is one value, or 2 bytes are one value, or 4 bytes are one value. That you have to specifically know it before opening the file. Then open the file, read byte by byte, convert into text, convert into numericals, decimal or hex or whatever format you want. So these are very complex, very close to, it is machine readable file, but still you come across sometimes, because especially at the data source, original data source, where you have a scientific experiment where you are collecting the data. That is where you have this one, these files. So better, instead of ignoring that it is a binary file, if some data scientist is capable of working with these files also, you are excellent. 2 ways of working with CSV files. We have 2 ways. One is CSV module, other one is Pandas package. So this is the external to Python. It is written based on the Python only, but other languages also. But this is external to Python. This is the built into the main Python, and this is CSV. And CSV module in Python provides classes. So this module provides classes for working with the tabular information available in CSV file, and it works with only with CSV file, because the module is CSV, is a flat data file except for delimiters. So it works with like this, and this you cannot open or read or write from Excel files. It works only with CSV. Then Pandas package. This probably, if you are already working in this, if you are not new to data science, you are already working, Pandas. It has a data frames. Basically, it is a data frame object. It processes everything as an object, and it is an open source Python package developed for data science and data analysis and machine learning tasks. So here you can only read. Further analysis you cannot do. You cannot summarize the data. You cannot describe the data. You cannot visualize the data. In this one, the total package is there. It is the best package known to me, and which I used extensively in recent times for data exploration and data cleaning purposes, data wrangling also. The present course is basically on data wrangling or mungling or data cleansing. So you are cleaning the data. So these things, this is the best package, but for the completeness, sometimes you don't want to do all these things, processing, or you don't want to do any tasks other than just reading. So in that case, you can use this. Otherwise, better use this Pandas package. It provides high performance, convenient data structures and data analysis tools and techniques. It is built on the top of NumPy package. NumPy package means it is the numerical Python. It is the package that supports multi-dimensional arrays. And in fact, majority of these features, I think, as a reference to MATLAB, they have developed, open source has been developed, because this has come after MATLAB has come. In some literature, I have seen comparing MATLAB commands and this, they are almost same, slightly modified version. So the functions also, methods, the methods under this package also, they are almost, names also almost similar to MATLAB. And this uses, is totally numerical. It is not, because if you take Python as such, it supports lists. So when you want to totally numerical processing, if you want to do, there was a necessity for separate package for that, because if I take an array, NumPy array, it is a uniform, it is a homogeneous type of variables. All are float numbers, all are integers, all are mostly these are all numerical things. So, and list means is a mixture of all the data types. So it is not convenient. And if you want to process the lists directly, if you want to apply numerical operations on the list, it is very difficult, or it takes long time to process. So to get rid of that problem, this NumPy package has come, and this has an interference to MATLAB that supports the multi-dimensional arrays. Okay, and of course, this is a basically Python. Everything it sees as an object. So that kind of object support was not there in MATLAB initially. Okay, but later, after seeing the object-oriented programming concepts, so MATLAB also they have some objects-oriented things. They have cells. They have their own data structures, and which is almost equal to these things. But of course, it is not open source. That is the only problem. And Pandas is also one of the most popular data wrangling packages, as I told you. And excellent. I should say that I have extensively used these wrangling packages for my out of interest, and excellent. It will do very good. Then working with CSV files, we are using the CSV module. This is the sample Python code I am giving. The file name is DWP data wrangling for Python with Python underscore module 1, because we are in the module 1. This is the first program. It is our first program. So that is what I am following in this course. And to sort out the issue of path, you have to specify the path. Sometimes we open spider or what is that spider or any other tool, IDEs, notebook, PyCharm is there, PyTorch is there. So here, to get rid of the path problem, always this is a good practice that change the directory, fix up the current directory, hard code it. Basically, whenever you are executing a program, you have already fixed in the beginning which directory. So it doesn't matter in which directory you are there, in which directory you have opened the IDE environment. Okay, so it is a good practice. Make it import OS. So you have to import OS, operating system, and OS dot this one change directory chdir should be used to fix up your current working directory. Okay, then you have to import this library. Okay, then this module you have to import. Then attributes you are defining. Attributes are nothing but if you take an Excel sheet, horizontals they are rows, verticals are columns. These vertical columns should be given a label. These are the vertical labels basically. Okay, column labels basically. They are attributes. Sometimes they can also be called as features. And in general terms, it is each column is called as a field. Okay, So this is what you have. I should say these are not the correct word actually. So you better use attributes. Then you have to specify the rows. So what is this one? What is this attribute? It is nothing but a list. It is nothing but a list. Square brackets are there. Then here, what is this? First row is a list. Second row is a list. Like that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lists are there. 6 rows are there, and all 6 rows are put into another list. So it is a list of lists. So it is basically a nested list, and one list containing the 6 lists. Okay. So this is what is rows, and what we are going to do, we have to specify a file name. I want to write this first into a file, CSV file. So that file name is student underscore records.csv. If you see here, there is a name, there is a branch, there is a spelling mistake is there here. There is a branch, current year, second year, first year, third year, like that. This is computer science, engineering, data science, information technology, electronics and communications, mechanical engineering, machine learning. So like that you have the names, in which year the student is studying, and these are CGPAs. Okay, so this is what is the cumulative GPA. So this is what is the data. This data we are going to write into a file called student_records.csv. Now, once you specify this file, we have to open this file. In the write mode, this is write mode, it allows writing. Then new line equal to blank. A blank is not even blank character, empty, you should say empty. New line equal to between two single quotes you have emptiness here. It is empty. Okay. So if you don't put this, what happens is extra line after this line. When you open that CSV file, one line, next line is just blank. Afterwards you print this. So between two successive lines, there is new blank line is generated. So to suppress that one, that happens only in the Windows, and to suppress that one, when you are working with Python on Windows, you have to put a new line equal to this one. This option you have to put. Then in the write mode, you are there. Then you have opened this one. The moment you open as a CSV file, this is all syntax. This is the syntax, and colon. You should not forget about this colon. This colon is important. So once you open this, what it means is it is equivalent to say that file pointer, file ID in case of C language. And if in case of C language, if that is -1, you are not able to open the file. Somehow, some problem is there in the hard disk, or some problem is there in the path. So something is there. Okay. So you are not able to, or that file is already open, so you cannot write it, you cannot overwrite it. That's why. So that is what you have. So if it is successfully done, then these three, if the file opening is successful, then these three rows are executed. These three instructions are executed. What is the first one? CSV writer is an object, and CSV file, it is a file pointer basically. So this is the file pointer. You have opened this file, and the address of the data where you want to store, and basically in the hardware terms, it is equal to the starting address of the segments or memory locations where you are going to store this data. So that is, in C language, it is a file identifier, FID, when generally we call. If it is -1, you fail to open that file. Then if it is not -1, then automatically some file ID is allocated, and you can do this writing operation successfully. So what is this module? CSV module. Dot writer. Okay. So dot writer, and these are the things. CSV dot writer. You have to use this function. You have to use function or method. Okay. So you have to use taking the file pointer as the input argument. Then you have generated CSV writer object here, and then you have in the writer object you have another method, that is write row, dot write row. And first you write the fields. Actually there is a type mistake here, fields. I have replaced these attributes. These fields must be these attributes. Okay, it is a typing mistake. Then I have changed later this one, that's why it happened. Then CSV writer dot write rows. So this is the actual information, and these are the labels or column headers. Okay, column labels. So that is how you have written. And in this one, it has a default delimiter. See, any CSV file, it is a CSV means comma delimited file. That means every entry is something like this. This is replaced with this one. Correct? This is here also is missing. This single quotes are missing. This quote is missing. This edit is missing. This is a copy paste problem maybe. So this is this side also. These are strings basically. These are strings. Yeah, these are all are strings only in this case. All are strings only because quotes are there. Okay, so let us not worry about these things because you consider all these things as the strings. Okay, now because it is a delimiter is comma by default, because comma delimited files, these are CSV file means. Okay, then you have written, now your file is ready. If you open this file, CSV file, what is the file name? Student underscore records.cf. If you open this, same data is visible. Okay. Yeah. So, how to read and write together. Here what I am doing, I am creating, this we have already studied, I have just now, and this repetition basically. So you got this file now, and this file you want to open this. So what you have to do, CSV.reader you have to use, CSV.reader. Okay, then you are reading, and what you are doing again, for loop, you are using the for loop, lines in CSV file, line by line you are printing. So it is to the console you are printing, probably, you just want to print whatever you have seen. So whatever you have written, same thing should be visible on the console. Okay. So unfortunately, I have no snapshot of the console. Now, because whatever example I have taken, very few things are there. So that's why I thought I will take another new CSV file, different, which is available online. And my guess is it must be from GitHub. This is maybe one may be there or may not be there. I don't remember. But you have example.csv file viewed by Notepad. Okay. So this I am viewing this one with Notepad. I am not opening with Excel, Microsoft Office, MS Office. Okay. So what I am doing here, opening with Notepad, I have the flag test here. What is this test? First one is labels for the columns. Total underscore bill, comma, tip, comma, sex, comma, smoker, comma, day, comma, time, comma, size. So these are all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 headers are. That means 7 columns are there in this. And this comma is the separation of this. This is the field actually, field value. This is the each field I should say. Okay. Then samples versus attributes. What are the samples here? So this is one sample. This is one sample. One bill. Okay. This is one bill amount, second bill, third bill, like that. There are different rows, different samples I should say. Okay. These are samples means here, because I want to introduce this term samples. So I want to use more technical things. Instead of saying the rows and columns, I should use attributes and samples or records. You can also call it as record. First record, second record, like that. Okay. So this is the first person's data, second person's data, third person's data, like that. Vertically, these are attributes. Okay. So that is what we have now. That's why these attributes we can also call more technically as features. And here default delimiter is comma. Now same thing I have taken. So I have not used any thing CSV. Now I use CSV module. This is the second program I have imported. So here what I am doing, this is the second method I am using. So far I used CSV module. Now I am using Pandas package. Same CSV file, whatever I used earlier. I have opened this and seen. This one I am going to open using the Pandas. I am going to read using the Pandas. Okay. Then what is this one? Import Pandas as PD, the shortcut form of this Pandas. Then import OS, as you know, to fix up the current directory, and the Pandas frame PD dot read underscore CSV method. This can take input file name, that is CSV file name, and separator. There we used to call it as a delimiter. In Pandas, it is called as the separator. SEP equal to comma. So this is, even if you don't give, it will work because the default is comma. Okay, all available, most of the CSV files are having default separator as comma. So you can skip this also, no issue. You can do it, but make it a habit, because when you are going to write with separate things, probably if you make it as a habit when reading also, you can easily, you don't do any human mistakes. Okay, so this is what you are reading, read underscore CSV method. Then whatever you have read, it is there in the data frame here, in this data frame object, and this data frame dot to underscore CSV. So this is the writing. So there it was CSV dot writer. So in place of CSV dot writer, I have to underscore CSV. So whatever in this object data is available, same data I am storing in 4 different files. The first file is 100, example 100, 200, new files, these are all, but separators are different. Okay. So in the first case, I am storing this with tab separator. One tab is there, and another one is underscore, other one is vertical bar, other one is semicolon. Any character you can use, but you should be careful that these characters, whatever you use as the separator or delimiter, should not be there in the running text, in the body of the, in the other columns. Okay, in the fields should not be there. So these should be distinct. This should not be. If anywhere you are using this column as a part of text, running text, you cannot, running text means here basically label headers or even in the fields also. Okay, string forms. In the string, this should not be there. Otherwise, it will be a problem. Okay. So I have generated. Let us see what is there in this. I have opened example 100 CSV file using Notepad. So first file this was, and I used delimiter of tab here. When I open in the Notepad, I am seeing a tab distance here between each field. Okay, of one record. So this is what, well formatted, excellent, and it is very human readable, very nice. So this one is very good feature in the Pandas writing. Okay, CSV writing. Now let us open the example 200.csv. What was the default delimiter was underscore here. If you see here, all the field values are underscore. Here there was a blank, so underscore, total bill, underscore, tip, underscore, sex, underscore, smoker, like that. Even the contents means values also, values in the columns also, they are coming as a single string, this everything. So here, if I open this using Excel, using MS Office, how it looks. So here, they are all joined. They are all joined together as a single stream. Each row is a single stream here, correct? Now let us see, if I open the same thing with MS Office, Excel, you have again only A. Only first column is there, A. That means total thing is taken as a single string. There is no B, there is no C. So everything is single row or single string. That means, if you use underscore like that. So if I give this file, for example, if I give this file to you to read, what you have to do? You have to, in the read file, you have to specify the delimiter or separator, SEP equal to, between single quotes, you have to put underscore. Then you can read it. Otherwise, you cannot read. If you use default reading with, if you don't give option of separator, it assumes that it contains the comma. That comma is not there. So it will take everything. Okay. So now let us talk about the XLS, previous version of Excel spreadsheet. here in this, to write, you need XLWT. There is a print mistake again, maybe replacing, because I have copied this from one slide to another slide, it happened like that. So this is write here also, XLWT. This is a, you import XLWT library, then from XLWT library import workbook. So this is what you have. And workbook, you have created the instant of workbook, you are calling the object as WB, and in this one you are adding sheet by sheet. The method is add underscore sheet, sheet1, and the sheet1 object is here. Then take this object, go to method, write method, sheet1 dot write, this is the data. So what is this one? 1, 0, city. So 1 means basically first column. So the indexing in Python is starts from 0, 0, 1, 2, 3. So here that means first column leave it, takes 0th column. This is 0, I mean, yeah. So 0th column means this is 0th column, leave, you store this one, this is the 0th column, store this in the first column, sorry, 0th row, this is 0th row, first column, 0th row, second column. These are column entries, these are row entries. Now what you are doing? City, state. Then what you are doing? After that, this is 0th column. This is 0th column. And first row, second row, third row. Okay. So you have, I think, let me see. No, I have no snapshot. I would have put it, how it looks. If you, after writing, if you open it and see, I think I misread. So actually you get city here, street here, then space, first column, second column is city, third column is street. In the first column, 0th row is blank here, first row is, this is what? Hyderabad, second row is New Delhi, third row is Bangalore. It is stored in the output.file. So you are saving this into this file. Okay. So that is what you have. Here, if you see workbook, see here you are using save, WB you are using workbook. This workbook, where it is mapped? Here. WB dot add sheet is there. So because of that one you have the sheet. So you have filled the first sheet total thing you filled. Then when your worksheet contains the sheet 1 now. Workbook contains the sheet 1. So that sheet 1 is available in WB object. So the WB dot save into this file. So that is what it is. Then read. Working with XLS, read files. So you have to read Excel files using XLRD. Okay, in case of CSV package, CSV module, what is that you had? You had CSV dot reader was there. In that place, I am going to use XLRD. Okay, XLRD, then file handling is there. You are opening the workbook, XLS, previous version of Excel sheet. You have the book object, then somethings are there. Probably is not very seriously worked out in the previous researchers they used to use. Now it's not very popular because we have the Pandas, very comfortable way. So I just, if you are interested, please go through this. These are all normal commands only. This is a format command. How this should be there. The number here is the print command. You are formatting this number of sheets. Number of sheets will be printed here. So it is a format command I am using. And same thing here. 3 items are there. 1, 2, 3. They are printed in this position. And this cell is there. Then for loop is there. RX range. So number of rows, sh dot number of rows, each row you are printing here. Okay. So there is a description. So if somebody is interested, you can go and work with these files just out of curiosity. Okay, so this is my 5th program. So that's why course name underscore module 1 underscore 5th program. Okay. So then I have given the link also. You can go to this and you can experiment with this library. So with this, I have completed my lecture 2. So what is that I have done here in this? I have introduced data sources, I have introduced data files and data sets and data file formats, and working with CSV files, working with XLS files using these libraries. Okay, these are the things which we have done. And in the next class, I am going to work with Excel, SX and other formats. Okay, other formats like PDF, JSON, XML. In the future lectures, I am going to read text or data from those files. Okay, and thank you very much for your attention.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.